Microsoft announced changes for the licensing of Microsoft 365 services in the Europe or European Economic Area and Switzerland. What does it mean for the customers? On the one hand, more flexibility, but at the same time, a little higher prices. Follow me in this video. I will deep dive into the changes of the licenses that will occur in the Europe and how it will impact your business. In this video, I would like to introduce you to the details of the announcement shared few days ago by Microsoft about the changes that will be applied to the licensing of the Microsoft 365 and Office 365 subscriptions across European Economic Area plus Switzerland. In general, it means that Microsoft Teams will become optional components for the most of the licenses. The prices will change, but also for some scenarios, summary cost of Office 365 plus Microsoft Teams will increase. But of course, the details are quite important here, so don't be worried. I will deep dive about the changes, who is impacted, because not every customer of Microsoft 365 will be impacted by these changes, and also how it will impact you. And as always, if you would like this video, please leave the thumbs up. If you want to get the notifications about the new videos and support this channel, please subscribe. And if you will have any additional questions, do not hesitate, just leave the comments below. And before we will move forward to the announcement shared by Microsoft, I want to share some thoughts I have about the changes in the licensing of the Microsoft 365 services, which I'm also sharing with the customers I'm talking on daily basis. In general, I see that summary cost of Microsoft 365 services increases. So you can see the baseline licenses, so all Office 365, all Microsoft 365 subscriptions costs are not going up or are increased, but on the very low level, especially if you will think about time frame that they were delivered to the customers. But at the same time, Microsoft increasing the cost behind Microsoft 365 by differentiating the features between standard and premium features, plus also adding add-on licenses to the whole Microsoft 365 environment. Of course, it's starting to be a little more complex, but also if you want to use more and more features, you need to buy premium licenses for the Power Platform, maybe premium licenses to Microsoft Teams or Viva products. And in general, it's nothing bad because this platform growing rapidly and more features are added. But if you will plan your budget, or if you will thinking about increasing or extending the usage of the Microsoft 365, you should probably consider that these costs will go up in time, especially if you will grow your usage of the Microsoft 365 services. So let's deep dive into the announcement that is shared by Microsoft about the changes in the subscription licensing of the Microsoft 365. To the most important informations, you can see that directly in the title, this is something that apply heavily to the new subscriptions that are added to the Microsoft 365. In general, all the changes are added to the net new subscribers of the service. If you are already the owner of the Microsoft 365 tenant, you will be not forced to change any licenses. The prices will not change for you. You will have the possibility to use the new subscriptions, but all new customers that will sign for the Office 365 or Microsoft 365 subscriptions, they will use the new subscriptions model that are applied to the European countries. And what is also quite important, the changes will be applied since 1st October. So probably when you're watching this video, this is already applied to the environment. So what is the main change in the licensing? So first of all, there is a split between Office 365 and Microsoft 365 subscriptions and dedicated separated subscription for the Microsoft Teams. In general, till this moment, all subscriptions covers Microsoft Teams, but since 1st October of 2023, Microsoft Teams will be moved to the separated license. Prices of all existing products will be decreased, but at the same time, if you will summarize the price of the Microsoft Teams subscription plus existing subscriptions from the Office 365 and Microsoft 365 suite, it will increase. So in summary, the cost of the product will be higher if you want to use Microsoft 365 and of course Microsoft Teams. And again, I can imagine that this information sounds quite scary, but remember, this is the change that will be applied only to the new subscribers, to the new organization that's signing up for the Microsoft 365. You can see in the example of the Office 365 E1, E3, E5 and Microsoft 365 E3 and E5 subscription, there will be no option to use currently existing subscriptions that include Microsoft Teams. In case of the frontline workers subscription, the same element will happen, but you will also have the possibility to use previous models of the license that will include Microsoft Teams. So if your organization for any compliance reasons will require to use the subscription that does not include Microsoft Teams, you will have the possibility to do that, and you can choose between the subscriptions with or without Microsoft Teams. And very similar approach is implemented to the Microsoft 365 Business Basic Standard and Premium. You can see you will have the possibility to select the subscription that contains Microsoft Teams or dedicated subscription that will not include that. And from that model, so frontline workers and Microsoft 365 business subscriptions, you have more options in general. If your business for any reasons requires from compliance perspective to do not use Microsoft Teams or to do not provide it, you have such an option. But in case of the Office 365 E1, E3, E5 plus Microsoft 365 E3 and E5, you will not have such a possibility. You will need to use the subscription that does not contain Microsoft Teams and buy additional Microsoft Teams subscription if this will be needed. How this change applies to the current customers? If you already owns Microsoft 365 environment, you can currently use licenses or use the new ones. So you will have the option to start the new subscription that does not contain Microsoft Teams, but you will not be forced to move to them. Moreover, you will have the possibility to add or remove existing seats in the subscriptions that you own, or to extend, renew the contracts that you already contain. So you can see this is the change that impacting heavily the new organizations that starting to move to the cloud, starting to use the Microsoft 365. These companies in general, if they want to use Microsoft Teams, will have the higher costs, because summary cost of the Microsoft Teams subscription plus decreased cost of the old subscriptions will be higher. And you can ask yourself why Microsoft implementing such a change. Of course, this is connected with negotiations with the European Commission's collaboration on the European market. So that's the main reason behind it. Moreover, some customers really requires from compliance reasons to do not have all products included. So that's the reason that Microsoft Teams is one of the products that will be separated. Finally, based on these changes, you will have the possibility to use the license, the subscription that does not contain Microsoft Teams, if you are part of the organization that from compliance reasons requires that. In other scenarios, if you are existing customer, not much changing for you. You have just more options to select. If you are the new customers, to be fair, your licensing will be more expensive. You can see if you will do the calculation, the cost of the old subscription is decreased for €1-2, but Microsoft Teams separated license costs €5. So you can imagine this increase of the cost will happen. And one more comment that is quite important: if you are the organization heavily involved in mergers or acquisitions, it's worth to contact Microsoft directly to ensure, if you will have the changes like that in the future, how to apply the new model of the licenses to your specific scenario. I don't expect many challenges there, but it's always good to be in the contact with your account manager or customer success manager on the Microsoft side. I hope this video will help you to understand better the changes in the subscription model in the Microsoft 365 that is applied since October 2023 in European Economic Area and Switzerland, and all the resources that also were shared in the video contain additional formal information from Microsoft will be linked in the description. So if you will need any additional information, you will find them there. And again, if you will have any questions, please share them in the comments. If I will have the possibility to deliver the answer, I will help you as I can. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.